Hello, everyone, and thanks for bearing with us while we're sorting through some technical issues. My name is Johan, and I'm part of the Pond team. Wanted to welcome you to today's vendor demo session with Denise and Julia from Giveffect. Before I turn it over to them, I wanted to quickly remind everyone that if you're interested in learning more about this solution, we'd encourage you to send Giveffect a Pond message. You can do this by logging on your Pond account and then navigating to the Giveffect provider page and clicking send message. From there, you can get your questions answered or request a one-on-one meeting. And as a reminder, we'll put Pond credits in your account for every meeting arranged through the platform. Without further ado, let me turn it over to Julia and Denise.
Hi, everyone. My name is Julia, and I'm a head of operation and strategy at Giveffect. And we are very excited to be here at Pond today and have an opportunity to present events and fundraising at Giveffect. All right. Denise, you're muted.
Oh, we don't want to do that. I'm the one with the technical difficulties if you hadn't caught on, but hopefully we'll get through this. Thank you so much for joining. It is going to be my great pleasure to provide you with an overview of our 10 system software here today. I am going to turn my camera off just for a few moments so it won't lag, but I did want to let you know that this is participatory. So I will be asking you some questions, and if you can have or do have access to the chat, you can go ahead and place those answers in the chat. So again, thank you for joining. Again, my name is Denise Rogers, and I am a nonprofit solutions consultant with Giveffect. I've been working with Giveffect for 4 years and have 20 years of experience in nonprofit fundraising and experience in nonprofit leadership as well. And so today we're going to talk about events and fundraising, but Giveffect is your single source for truth. Our mission is to equip nonprofits with one platform to manage all nonprofit activities and engage with all constituents. With Giveffect, you get a 360-degree view of all of your constituents and their activities designed to grow your nonprofit. Many nonprofits today struggle with too many platforms and tools that don't speak to one another. Does that sound like you might be in that position right now? If it is, go ahead and put it in the chat. Just say yes or no. Also, missing or unorganized data, gaps in data due to role transitions, constantly downloading reports from one tool into another to upload another tool, or just doing manual data entry over and over and over again. If that sounds like you, just go ahead and put that in the chat. Giveffect is a solution to having all of those systems. Giveffect is a 10-system software that includes online giving, smart automation, email and direct marketing, volunteer management. Today, we're obviously going to be focusing on events, auctions, and fundraising management, website and web hosting, web screening and major gifts, membership management, and grant tracking and web forms. Included in that, again, this is a high-level overview of that we just went over. Today, we're going to be focusing on events and fundraising. And thank you so much, Sonia and Julie, for answering those questions. I guess you're not unlike many of our clients using many software systems and doing that manual data entry. So we'll take a look at the agenda today. I won't keep you long, but I did want to provide you with an overview. So why now? Why events? Are you hosting events? I'd like to see that information in the chat. If you're hosting events, what type of events are you hosting? Galas, donor cultivation events, auctions. Are you hosting any events currently? Along with that, if you are hosting events, or maybe you don't want to host an event, do you happen to know why it's important to host events? Can you place that in the chat? Anyone know why it's important to host events? I know at times it can be daunting. You spend lots of time meeting with people, organizing, and it takes you away from some other things that you're doing. But why might it be important, especially given the times that we're in? Of course, it is important, and I see you. Thank you, Julia. I understand you're hosting auctions, small groups of family events, large community events. Thank you so much for sharing there as well. Well, the reason why it is important to host events and why events are important to nonprofits in particular is because they help you raise dollars. Getting in front of more people are going to allow you to solicit more dollars from more people. They also allow you to develop and cultivate relationships, and planning those events and sending out those invitations and meeting with people about your events. You're able to meet more people and start to have a conversation with them. They may not give immediately, but you're able to continue to develop and cultivate those relationships just based on that one event. I wasn't going to give this example, but I remember working for a nonprofit who kind of wasn't on the map when it came to events, but all of our competitors, if you were. And it was that event that kind of pushed us out there, that enabled us to actually get on the map, for people to know we were there on that corner that they just passed by every week. But now we're in corporate executive offices providing them with that information. So it was kind of the tool that allowed us into those offices. Also, events allow you to recognize donors and your sponsors. Again, people give out of the kindness of their heart, but they do like to be recognized at times. And this is a time when you're hosting events, whether they're large or small, to be able to do that. Additionally, hosting events would allow you to increase awareness about your cause. So again, letting people know more about what you're doing, what your outcomes are, how you're affecting change in your communities is extremely important, so that you can actually garner that support and reach out to those who want to support your cause. And then lastly, opening doors for other forms of support. You never know who's sitting in the audience. Maybe a friend of a friend brought a colleague, and then that colleague may be connected somewhere that you never thought about actually addressing or soliciting. So those are the ways those are the reasons why events are important over time. Now I want to speak to you a bit about what we're going to look at. Of course, Giveffect's fundraising software is designed to raise more and cultivate relationships. Today, we're going to take a look at simple donations campaigns, ticketed fundraising events, auctions, RSVP campaigns, peer-to-peer fundraising campaigns, and third-party campaigns. And before I kind of dive in, are you hosting any ticketed events, auctions? I'd like to hear from you as to what you're doing now. I know Julie mentioned that she's hosting the auctions and the family events and large community events, but anyone else hosting an auction or RSVP campaigns currently? Ticketed, yes, Tara, I see that you're hosting a ticketed event and an auction as well. So we'll kind of just go through how this works, take a look at some client examples, how easy it is to manage these events in the system, and also how easy it is for your supporters to support you if you're using Giveffect as well. So we'll start with a simple donations campaign. This is an example of what we call a simple donations campaign. A simple donations campaign is like a Giving Tuesday campaign, a capital campaign, an annual fund. Any specific funds that you're raising dollars for can be created as a simple donations campaigns. So if you're hosting those campaigns, or you're getting ready to launch your annual campaign, this is what it would look like in Giveffect. You're able to absolutely go ahead and identify a goal. We can see the amount raised here. There's 17 supporters and $12 left. Again, you can customize this. Another great caveat with our systems as well is that you're able to share the content of these campaigns with other people. So maybe you send it out to Julie, maybe Tara will send it out to Julie, and Julie can then send it on to friends of hers that may be interested in supporting an organization like yours. With Giveffect, how do you create these campaigns? So what we're looking at is actually the system. This is the Giveffect software. You would manage all of those systems that I just mentioned, but it's also where you would go ahead and create the campaign. And so you can create the campaigns here in minutes, not in hours. And also if you're hosting a campaign over and over again, like the same auction event or gala, over time, you'd absolutely be able to clone it. So you don't have to start from scratch. We're basically just answering some questions. At the end of answering these questions, this is a basic campaign. What type of campaign? We're gonna set a fundraising goal for our Giving Tuesday campaign, and in a description, we're also gonna add email and of course our website. You can absolutely upload your logo and your event image as well. And of course, the information that you're looking to collect here in the system or to actually garner to your supporters would be here as well. So time, date, when it starts, do you have a particular goal? Do we want to see that goal on that campaign page? Do we want it in miles, boxes, units? Additionally, for rewards, are you going to give a reward? Is this a ticketed event or not? And so with this event, we know this is not a ticketed event. We've created it in minutes, not hours. And so this is a Giving Tuesday campaign with a $100,000 goal. We have 14 days left, and it includes a donate button. You can always allow your supporters to add to their various calendars. And as I mentioned previously, you can have your supporters share these campaigns as well with their friends and family. What we're looking at here is an example of it's a ticketed event, but it's also a sponsorship event. So you can add tickets, sponsors, auctions. We can put all of this together. With the sponsors, I did want to point out that, yes, your sponsors can come in. They can pay for that through an online donation checkout flow. But I also wanted to mention that in addition to that, maybe the Bank of America is not going to pay for their sponsorship over the internet for $20,000 because they're a platinum sponsor. Maybe instead of that, they'd like for it to go through a checkout flow that looks similar to this one. This you'll be able to send to your particular sponsors in an email, through email marketing, and allow them to go ahead and choose what's best for them and request an invoice. That way, they can take that particular invoice that's going to be generated through the system, they can print it and bring it to their finance department so they can remit payment to you at that point. So that's always really nice when you're not going to have to do that and make up an invoice, and then they just have it right at their fingertips at that point. For ticketed events, this is another example of ticketed events. Again, customizable. This particular organization has a $150,000 goal. They have raised over $67,000. They've included the donate button, sponsored this event, and we can purchase individual tickets. I did want to mention with Giveffect as well, in addition to those individual tickets, you may have one ticket price. You also may have more than one. Maybe you have individual tickets and a VIP pricing or a table pricing. Because we have a cart, one can come in and purchase at multiple levels there or multiple tickets. Again, the system will also generate a tax receipt for your supporters, as well as an acknowledgement immediately upon checkout. So they would receive that as well. And payments can be made via credit card and also bank payment via ACH. I did want to also let you know that we use WePay, that is our partner for processing, and the payment would actually hit your bank account, be direct deposited into your bank account within 24 hours of that ticketed event or that ticket being purchased. Your finance team can also change that cadence. So I did want to mention that, but we're not going to hold on to your cash. When it comes in, it's going to hit the system automatically, and it will be direct deposited into your bank account. Now we'll take a look at auctions online, in person, and hybrid. So with that said, an auction could be all of those things. A great way to host an event if you're not looking to spend a lot of time booking a venue. Lots of our clients have done that during the pandemic. Maybe you just want to get your feet wet with an auction. So that's another way to do that. So whether you're hosting, you're auctioning off just like one autographed shirt, like jersey, like this one, or you have multiple items, you're able to create those in the system. Again, whether it's online or in person would absolutely be, you would be able to utilize text to bid options. How do you create these auctions? Well, we looked at creating a campaign, but in the system, you can also go ahead and create the auction. Here, your supporters can come in and donate. They can sponsor this campaign. They can also take a look at your auction items. So they're able to browse your auction items. This is from your supporter view, by the way. They can sort by type or by highest price. So you can actually customize that within the system as well. Additionally, the system will, you can customize it to allow for or require a registrant to register as a bidder at that point. So there's going to collect all that pertinent data, including phone number, phone type, address, and most importantly, allow them to pre-authorize their credit card so that payment can be made at the end of the auction. Also, if it's up to you, you can also allow for them to go ahead and pay later, if that's something you do. Giveffect will generate an email to go out immediately on the screen. So this would show up immediately for your supporter upon completion of that registration with some instructions. More importantly, not only would that pop up on the screen, but they would also receive an email. So this email would allow them to know their bidder number for future reference and how to use the system. In addition to, they were able, if I could click on this, they would be able to go back to browsing those auction items. So anytime they want to come back and browse, they have that link where they could do so. So how do we create the auction in the system and manage those auctions? An auction can be attached to any campaign. So it's not just like you have to have one auction by itself. It could be along with your gala or donor cultivation event or golf tournament as well. And you're able to come in and manage all of the auctions in the system, no matter the campaign that it's associated with. Again, with Giveffect, you're answering several questions that you've already thought about before even coming into the system. Are you going to require bid numbers? Are you going to require, do you want to show the auction button on the page? Of course, if it's an auction, you probably want to. Do you want to show auction registration button? Auto assign bidders. So that's something you can do. So when you come in, it will just auto assign the bid number to that particular constituent or supporter. You'll also be able to pre-authorize. Are you requiring pre-authorization? I know I've always wanted to pre-authorize those payments because then it helps on the back end when you're not kind of chasing folks for checks. And then what is mandatory? Address, phone number, mobile number. Are those mandatory for you to collect from your supporter? Also managing your auctions and your auction items for that particular auction campaign. You're able to, again, come in and add those auction items. You can add images, multiple images. You can go ahead and select items, identify the category it's associated with. Is this a live or a silent auction? Is it public? Because you can create this campaign and have it waiting in the wings to make it public. When does it start? When does it end? Maybe bid extensions. Maybe it does end at 4/16. But you want to extend that because there's a war going on, but like for one item, you just want to extend that one item. You're able to do that and continue to raise the most that you can for that item. You can include value of the item, any overhead costs. So the fair market value, if you're generating the tax receipt, it would be included, the buy now price and the bid increment. You can always add a URL to each of the campaigns, but in particular, if you wanted to have a travel and you wanted to show a video of that, you can include that as well. Now we're looking at all of the items that we have here in the system, and we're able to manage those items uniquely here in the system. Also for bids, they're the leader, and the leader is $20,000, and it just happens to be me for the autographed baseball. Again, that's the value that we're looking at here for the Florida package. It's $5,000. And again, if we can download these results and also print bid sheets, if that's something that you want to do to display on a table. Uniquely, Giveffect allows you to attach a QR code to a campaign and also a QR code to an auction item. So you can also allow for your supporters to go ahead and grab those codes and then access the auction item directly or the campaign. The system will allow you to manage your bidders in the system. So far, we have 2 bidders, and we are capturing all the information we need for those bidders. If you're hosting an event and you want to register all of your event attendees, we can register them in one big swoop and also add individual bidders. So maybe someone came out, their name is not on the list, we can add them independent of one another. In this case, Carl and I did this online directly. You can also download those results and email the list. Bids, you'd also be able to manage all of your bids in one area. So for the autographed baseball, we can take a look that Denise Rogers bid twice, and it is also time-stamped. Of course, I did that back to back. And then I bid 10,000 and then 20,000 at that point. So at any given time, you can keep track of that information. And then of course, at the end of your auction, we want to go ahead and manage your winners so that they can remit payment. This is an example, what we're looking at here is an example of an RSVP and a registration campaign. So RSVP campaign is, maybe it's free. Maybe you're hosting a book signing like one of our customers were, or maybe it's a donor cultivation event or the family event that Julie mentioned, and you just want to know, are you coming? Do you want chicken or fish? What size t-shirt do you wear? Because it's a fun event and we want to give you a t-shirt. So you want to garner information and also understand who's coming. So this is what the RSVP campaign is for. Maybe you do have a fee for it. Maybe it is like a community fair and it's $5 to get in. It's not a fundraising event, but you'd like to know if people are coming in. You'd also like to take those payments online. You're able to do that by creating a registration event at that point. What we're looking at here, before we talk about that, I wanted to know, is anyone hosting a peer-to-peer event like a walk, run, or a ride? Bowl-a-thon we see lots of as well. Are you hosting any of those? Can you just put it in the chat if you are? So with the peer-to-peer campaign with Giveffect, of course, your supporters will come in. You'd be able to come in and create your campaign. So this organization came in, they created the campaign. It's going to keep the same look and feel and branding anytime someone registers for a team. They have a $15,000 goal. They've raised over $15,000. They have 11 teams. Teams, by the way, can create a little healthy competition, because if we were looking at the full campaign, we'd see those teams and what they've raised over time. One could donate to this campaign. We can register a team, participate as an individual, or sponsor this campaign. I wanted to also point out that our clients have done a great job over the past few years of creating peer-to-peer campaigns that are not traditional. So they didn't host a walk, run, or ride or an event. They actually turned a simple donations campaign into a peer-to-peer campaign. So just imagine you have your annual campaign but your supporters are able to come in and register a team. So if you wanted to, you have one independent supporter of yours that wants to garner support from their friends to help you raise those dollars, they're going to be able to create a team. And that's worked extremely well for many of our customers. And lastly, but not least, personal and third-party fundraising, what we call third-party fundraising. I don't know if you have a button on your website that says raise funds for us, or people call you and they want to know what they can do. They want to do more than what they're doing to raise funds for you. Your supporters can actually go onto your website. You can send them a link through email marketing or an email asking them to raise funds for you. Just like you can create a campaign in minutes, they're going to be able to create their own campaign. This way they come in, they customize it. Kaiser Permanente has created this campaign to support this particular customer. It could be someone's birthday. They want to create that campaign in honor of their birthday to support your organization. I have seen youth come in and create campaigns for their favorite nonprofits. Additionally, here we can see that they have a $10,000 goal and they've raised over $7,000 and they have 3 teams. The donate button, and you're able to go ahead and register your own team. I did want to impart a couple of things. One, this information, this does have your logo on it, so you can absolutely approve it on the administrative side before it goes out into the public eye. In addition to that, all the donations are direct deposited into your bank account on a daily basis, so there's no lag time. There's that 24 hours, but we're not holding on to the check like some systems would do and send you a check in a month. And all of the supporters that support these campaigns, in particular this third-party campaign, they now have a contact profile created for them. So what does that mean? That means that you can now properly thank them for your support. We know in some systems that is not included. You won't have that information. You can also continue to send them information with the hopes of cultivating a relationship with them. You want to send them information about your outcomes and keep them abreast of what you're doing. So it doesn't have to just be a one-off donation. They can support you in the future as well. And so Giveffect also is looking to, making supporting your organization easy for both you and the supporters. That's what we just kind of looked at. But it also, your supporters are going to receive acknowledgements and tax receipts. These are automated. So an online donation or purchase of a ticket online would generate an acknowledgement and a tax receipt, similar to what we're looking at here. Also, people still do make donations offline. So for those offline donations, you'll be able to generate these by batch printing, running a mail merge in our system. You don't have to go anywhere else to create these acknowledgements, and then going ahead and putting them in the mail for your supporters. So it makes it easy to do that, and you're not having to switch between like Microsoft Word and another system. It is created directly here within Giveffect. Also, making you're supporting your organization easy for your community as well. So for you to be able to manage your attendees, we do have a tickets database. So when you're scanning the ticket that is generated here, when one purchases a ticket for themselves or other folks, that once you scan that, it's going to be dated and time-stamped in the system. Not only would we see it here, but we see it in one individual contact profile. And we'll look at that in a bit, but that information would be here in the system. So no manual data entry. You don't have to think about who was there. Now I can send them a thank you. We know that they checked in. Additionally, Giveffect includes an event buddy app, and I'll talk a little bit more about that, but that would allow you to also scan QR codes. So that's what you'd be scanning. You log right into the app, and you can scan those QR codes and manage all of your event activities, including your auction. The QR code, the Event Buddy app can be downloaded from the Apple Store and also Android. So it does work with both of them, and it's useful for mobile devices as well. Keep in mind, if you have a kiosk, like a laptop in front of you, you can also manage it through the laptop as well. But what it would allow you to do at this point is to definitely manage payment as well. So there you can swipe credit cards through the system and also scan credit cards. We have mobile devices for purchase. You can check your supporters in through the system outside of the QR code. So both your attendees, your participants, and volunteers can check in and check out here through the mobile device. Tickets, again, we're able to scan that scan barcode with the Event Buddy app. So it's very intuitive. We can take a look a little bit at that in action. If we were looking at it on a desktop or a laptop, I did want to take a look at the Event Buddy app just overall and how that would work in that manner. So if we did have this on the laptop or desktop, again, we're managing participants, volunteers, and tickets through the Event Buddy app. And we would identify the particular event that you're hosting. So in this case, Auction for Kids. John Smith is here, and he's at the registration area. You and your volunteers can just go ahead and check him in. I have it set up for him to check out, but he doesn't have to check out. Maybe if this was a peer-to-peer event, you might want to know who's, here still on the grounds at that point. So that's what that image looks like. And where does all of that information go? Well, that information goes into the Giveffect system, the CRM overall, and into one's contact profile. By coming here, we get a 360-degree view of everything that your constituents are doing within your organization. We've been focusing on events. So for Wendell, for example, we can manage all of the events, whether it's a team fundraising event, an RSVP, registration fees that he's paid, tickets that he's purchased, along with that date and time stamp that we saw on a micro view. We didn't talk about purchases, but your supporters can make purchases. We manage all of the bidders and bids as well as it relates to each of your constituents. So now the benefits of Giveffect events and fundraising. The benefits to you and your supporters is you'll increase donor engagement. It was designed for you to increase donor engagement. You can create personalized reminders, thank you emails, and donorversaries. So you'll be able to communicate more effectively and thereby increase donor engagement. There's group segmentation allowed, and also workflows will allow you to automate touch points. So you don't even have to really think about it once you set those workflows up. Additionally, it saves you valuable time. Again, it's automated, so everything is going to the system. Most of the information is going to the system at a click of a button. Also, you're able to complete tasks in fewer clicks and eliminate constant downloading and uploading of data between systems. Our clients report that they're saving at least 30 hours a month not doing manual data entry. And so what would that equate to financially? What could you be doing instead of doing that data entry? And with Giveffect, you get clear, concise reporting that is intuitive and easy to generate. You eliminate silos and share information and activities across your organization. The system is designed to use across your organization as well. With Giveffect, you win with Giveffect. These are some of the clients that we are making a difference with throughout our communities. And our clients also report, this is a case study for one of our customers, Food Link. They reported by using the software in the first year that they saw an increase in fundraising revenue by 376%. They've retained at least 50% of their donors over time, and they've saved 40 hours a month not doing administrative tasks by using the system. One last case study, one of our clients, No Limits for Deaf Children. They were able to increase fundraising revenue by 285%, increase in volunteers by 208%, and they saved 35 hours monthly not doing manual tasks. And with Giveffect, of course, we have a great team, and we're all here for you. And we pride ourselves on customer support. We offer chat support, email support, phone support, regular office hours, and webinars to our supporters. We want you to be master users of the software so that you can raise as much as you need to support your current constituents and constituents that come after them. Thank you so much for your time as well. Thank you for coming. And if you have any questions, I think we might have a few moments left for those questions.
Denise, I actually have a question. Could you talk a little bit about your kind of prototypical user? You have like such an impressive array of tools. Does that favor small nonprofits or medium-sized or large nonprofits? How should folks listening to the webinar think about if Giveffect's the right answer for them?
So that's a great question. So now I get that question a lot. Currently, we actually are supporting clients that have the actual average would be $1 million and up in revenue we look at. It's not really about the revenue either. So it depends on the number, the capacity. How many supporters are you managing in the system? Are you hosting events? So if you're actually using all of those systems, Giveffect would be prime for you to adopt as well. So as far as we do serve lots of Habitat for Humanity affiliates, again, the range could be $1 million in revenue to $12 or $20 million in revenue. So there isn't, we have our pricing does start we do have a starter tier for those organizations who might not be managing as many supporters in the system, and then they grow with it. So I hope that answers your question.
Yeah, that was great. Thank you.
And I wanted just to add to that, and it relates to Julie's question. If nonprofits adopt all the systems or starting with a few, I think Denise touched on it a little bit. In Giveffect, we believe that all nonprofits deserve to have all tools. So it doesn't matter if you're a small nonprofit or you're a very large nonprofit, you will have access to all the tools within the Giveffect. But just speaking to a lot of our clients, especially the bigger one, it's quite a challenge to adapt everything at once. So the most successful nonprofits we've seen, they usually first go with CRM volunteer management or CRM and fundraising, and then 2 months later, they're adding grant management and other pieces of the software and kind of do the adoption in tiers. I don't know, Denise, if you want to add something to this.
Yeah, we do have training and onboarding. So even if somebody comes, because typically when someone comes to an overview session, they're looking at for their department. They're fundraising and that's all they want to focus on is donations management. And then they quickly realize that you can use it throughout your organization. And if you're small, it makes you look that much larger. I know for development professionals, we are very creative and we get a lot done. We have many, many hats, but can you imagine having all of those hats and wearing all of those hats and having one system? Then it makes it look like you might, instead of having 10 people doing one job, because that's what it looks like, it will look like 20 people are doing that one job because you have everything in one place. You can rid yourself of those sticky notes and all that information you have around you. There's also task management through the system, so you can task yourself and other supporters, and other users of the system, your colleagues. I do see a question in here from Tara. How does data migration work for nonprofits using too many systems? Is it easy or difficult? So one of the things with Giveffect is we offer a data migration specialist. So there is no charge currently for our data migration. You would be a data migration specialist would be assigned to your team. And that data migration specialist would ask that you upload all of your data sources, like your CRM, your events platform, your email marketing, into the system so they can create that one contact profile that looked like the one we just looked at. So when they come in, that would look like that. So we can do that anywhere from 30 days to 60 days. It just really depends on what you have going on, when you can upload that data and pay most attention to it. They'll also take care of all of your data mapping as well. Again, when you're ready, when you complete that validation for data migration, you can go ahead and use the software as if you've been in it for years. Also, with Giveffect for onboarding, at the same time you're doing that data migration, onboarding would happen. There are 5 unique onboarding sessions to go over all of those systems and bring you up to speed so you do have that training at the same time. Thank you, Julie.
That was great, Denise. I really appreciate that session. I don't know if there's anything else either you or Yulia wanted to share as we wrap up here. It looks like we've gone through all the questions in the chat.
No, I don't have it. Yulia, did you have anything to add?
No, I think it was a great session. And again, we were very excited to be here today with the Pond. And we are one of the vendors on the Pond platform. So please feel free to reach out to us through messaging services.
And I just wanted to reiterate that. Thank you so much for joining. Really enjoyed sharing the information about you and would love to speak with you more if you're interested in learning more.
Thank you both very much. Have a great day.
Thank you.
Thanks everyone for joining. Bye-bye.
They're looking at for their department. They're fundraising and that's all they want to focus on is donations management. And then they quickly realize that you can use it throughout your organization. And if you're small, it makes you look that much larger. I know for development professionals, we are very creative and we get a lot done. We have many, many hats, but can you imagine having all of those hats and wearing all of those hats and having one system? Then it makes it look like you might, instead of having 10 people doing one job, because that's what it looks like, it will look like 10 people are doing, 20 people are doing that one job because you have everything in one place. You can rid yourself of those sticky notes and all that information you have around you. There's also task management through the system, so you can task yourself and other supporters, and other users of the system, your colleagues. I do see a question in here from Tara. How does data migration work for nonprofits using too many systems? Is it easy or difficult? So one of the things with Giveffect is we offer a data migration specialist. So there is no charge currently for our data migration. You would be, a data migration specialist would be assigned to your team. And that data migration specialist would ask that you upload all of your data sources, like your CRM, your events platform, your email marketing, into the system so they can create that one contact profile that looked like the one we just looked at. So when they come in, that would look like that. So we can do that anywhere from 30 days to 60 days. It just really depends on what you have going on, when you can upload that data and pay most attention to it. They'll also take care of all of your data mapping as well. Again, when you're ready, when you complete that validation for data migration, you can go ahead and use the software as if you've been in it for years. Also, with Giveffect for onboarding, at the same time you're doing that data migration, onboarding would happen. There are 5 unique onboarding sessions to go over all of those systems and bring you up to speed so you do have that training at the same time. Thank you, Julie.
That was great, Denise. I really appreciate that session. I don't know if there's anything else either you or Yulia wanted to share as we wrap up here. It looks like we've gone through all the questions in the chat.
No, I don't have it. Yulia, did you have anything to add?
No, I think it was a great session. And again, we were very excited to be here today with the Pond. And we are one of the vendors on the Pond platform. So please feel free to reach out to us through messaging services.
And I just
Great.
wanted to say, reiterate that. Thank you so much for joining. Really enjoyed sharing the information about you and would love to speak with you more if you're interested in learning more.
Thank you both very much. Have a great day.
Thank
All right.
you.
Thanks everyone for joining. Bye-bye.